Sex. It's like pizza. Don't get it at Bob Evans. Hi, I'm Dr. Kush, head dankologist here at Smoke Cartel. Since the beginning of time, human beings have loved sex. They've tried to have more of it, and they've tried to make it better. They've also loved weed. But what would happen if you took both and you put them together? Weed makes a lot of things better. A boring day at home, babysitting, a funeral, divorce proceedings, a job interview. Pretty much anything you can imagine would be improved if you had 1 or 2 hits of Kush. So what about sex? The body's endocannabinoid system affects things like pleasure, memory, movement, thinking, coordination, time perception, and feelings of fear and anxiety. All of these things are crucial in the sack and have each ruined a separate sexual experience for me by not functioning properly with a different person named Catherine. In 1984, the Journal of Sexual Medicine conducted a survey of college students to determine the effects of cannabis on sex. 58% of men and 32% of women said it increased the quality of their orgasms. 50% of men and 60% of women said it increased their desire for a familiar partner. 35% of men and 56% of women said it increased their desire to snuggle. 60% of men and women said it increased the sensation of touching. And 70 to 80% of men said it increased their overall satisfaction sexually. Dr. Becky Lynn, director of the Center for Sexual Health and associate professor of obstetrics and gynecology at St. Louis University, performed an all-female study on the subject of cannabis and sex. Unfortunately, she did not respond to my attempts to reach out, nor did I attempt to reach out to her at any point.
Women who used marijuana were 2 times as likely to report more satisfactory orgasms and overall increased sex drive.
So, case closed, right? In a 2010 study in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, men who used cannabis were more likely to report issues with premature ejaculation as well as issues with delayed ejaculation. How does that make sense, you ask? I don't know. It doesn't really. Science is kind of hard. I never said I liked it. But we all just do whatever we can to get through the day, one day at a time. Human sexuality is very complicated. My thesis for my master's degree was losing my virginity. Unfortunately, performance anxiety caused the attempt to be unsuccessful, and I had to restart graduate school. Attempting to quantify the nuances of human sexual behavior into scientific results is nearly impossible. So, does cannabis make sex better? Will I ever forgive my grandmother? It's impossible to say for sure. Both cannabis and sex are experiences that differ so much from person to person that a definitive answer is virtually impossible. That looks like fun, honey. If you're not that experienced and you think cannabis might make sex more enjoyable for you, go ahead and try it. You might want to do it with a familiar partner first, just in case you get high and suddenly realize they are very ugly. Or you panic because you think you are unlovable and everybody hates you. But you also might get high and it might feel really good and you'll have a great time and have a lot of fun. And remember, not to lecture you. It's always important to respect your partner's boundaries. And if your partner doesn't respect your boundaries, leave and call 911. Thank you for joining me through this journey on all of a 16-year-old boy's favorite things: weed, sex, and my grandmother. Stay safe, stay sexy, and stay stoned. Inappropriate situation. Honey? Sweetheart?